next speaker, Noel Descalzi.
Hi. How are you all feeling? Good. How many of you have ever heard of the television show, The Real Housewives? Be honest. How many of you watch it? I happen to really love the New Jersey wives. I was born there, I grew up there. In some crazy way, I guess I relate to them in a sense. And if you watch the show, you know that there's a character named Lauren. She happens to be the daughter of one of the wives. And her storyline is all based around her weight and how she struggles with her weight. And every single time this girl is on the camera, it's like miserable to watch. It doesn't matter what situation she's in, she's always complaining about her body and how she feels. And that she has these two older brothers, they're handsome, and they don't have this problem, and wah, wah, wah. She cries and whines about her weight. It drives me crazy. Now, women like Lauren and other women that I meet through my business, friends, family, they all seem to have this same problem. They struggle with their body image and their weight. And these women are one of the reasons why I'm standing up here and talking to you all today. I really feel like we have the power inside ourselves to be confident and to feel happy in our bodies. I feel like the feeling of powerlessness should not control us. We shouldn't feel victimized by our weight. Whether you're super skinny, medium-sized, athletic, curvy, heavy, as women, we all have a relationship with our weight, right? Some of us find it easier to manage than others, but it really doesn't have to do with your size. It has to do with how you feel about yourself. In our society, there is so much pressure and concentration put on how we look or how we don't look. And that feeling almost intensifies as we get older. Think about it. Start with adolescence. Get your period for the first time, you start developing, start feeling all these hormonal changes, right? Maybe you start feeling sexual, attracted to boys, and all of a sudden, there's this focus on your weight. And then maybe you go to college, and everybody knows the freshman 15, right? And then there's this worry about how to take that weight off. And then maybe you're celebrating a big milestone in your life. Maybe it's your wedding day. And who doesn't want to be a skinny bride? And again, this focus on your weight. And then finally, maybe you're ready to have babies. And there's this anxiety about putting on weight during your pregnancy or taking it off afterward. It's like this never-ending cycle of losing weight or figuring out how to maintain it. I opened up a fitness studio a year and a half ago called Work It Out, or WEO for short. The goal behind the studio was to really get women to form a new relationship with health and fitness, one that was comfortable and one that was exciting. Our motto at the studio is set your fitness free. Now I know what you all are probably thinking. Here's this fitness instructor, she's gonna tell us what diets to go on and how to eat. I can assure you that's not what I'm up here to say. I'm here to help you find what you need to feel confident and happy and strong in your bodies, and what those things are to get you there. I did gymnastics my whole life, 16 years, very, very dedicated. I was dedicated, my family was dedicated to the sport, and it was just a way of life for me. I trained 5.5, 6 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week, 7 on competition season. And I never had to worry about my weight. I could eat whatever I wanted. I'd come home from practice and have a bowl of pasta. Growing up in New Jersey, Italian, that's all we ate: pasta, sausage, meatballs. I never was taught how to eat, right? So right around 17, the peak of the sport for me, I had a career-ending injury. I blew out my ankle. And that was it for me. I was done. I was out for 6 months, and I never really recovered. During this time, I started to slowly put on weight naturally, right? I was working out over 20 hours a week. You go from working out that much to not at all. You're going to slowly put on weight, and especially if you're eating the same way: pasta, meatballs, sausage. So around this time, I probably put on 30 pounds, and it was so uncomfortable for me. I never had to deal with this before. And right around this time, my cousin invited me to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. I was thrilled. I was in the wedding, I got the dress. After the wedding, she sent us the professional pictures, and I opened them up, and I saw this picture of myself in the dress, and I was heavy. I couldn't believe how I looked in this picture. It was all really starting to feel sad for me. Family, friends would say, "Well, you put on some weight." At that moment, seeing that photo, I really decided to make a change, a commitment, a decision to not feel like this anymore. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I wasn't going to let myself feel like that anymore. So, there almost needs to be this overwhelming feeling of want and need for change in order to get there. And if you want it bad enough, you can have it. But you have to understand a few things. One, it's a very long road. It's not going to happen like that and you're skinny. You have to understand that it really takes time and dedication and commitment. And once you understand that and you're ready to make that change, you can then go out and experiment. I like to break down experimentation into 2 different categories: food and fitness. I started with food, as most people do. I tried every diet. You name it, I was on it. Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, South Beach, Atkins. I tried it for 2 days a week, whatever it was, I was on it. Now, I find with diets that there's a really big misconception. People think that there's a start and an end, and in between you lose the weight, and then it's over. When in reality, that's not how it works at all. Diets are really designed to teach you how to eat and what works in your life and what elements feel natural to you. And then once you figure that out, you start incorporating them, right, into your everyday life. Then you start experimenting with different things. Fitness. I meet so many women in my business that say, "I hate to work out. I hate to go to the gym." I say, "Why? What have you tried?" I don't know, the elliptical, the treadmill. I say, "What is your fitness personality? Maybe you were a dancer as a child. Maybe you need to get into a dance class, a Zumba class, and really feel that feeling of positive energy, making yourself feel good about fitness. Find what works for you." Now, along this process, there could be a feeling of maybe failure, like, "I don't like this doesn't work." For me, I tried something called the US ski team's diet, something ridiculous, like a grapefruit for breakfast, cottage cheese for lunch, raw vegetables for dinner. I was on this diet for like 2 days, and I was done. I could have allowed myself to feel like I failed and then just completely stopped. But instead, since I made this commitment to change, I picked myself back up and I tried something new. Right? So say you are experimenting all the time and you're trying all of these different things and you keep falling off track. What do you then do to really keep yourself committed and focused on your goal? You immerse yourself, right? It's so easy to become distracted in whatever you're doing, whether it's work, having a bad week, or eating junk all the time, right? You're in a relationship and it's an intense time. You don't make it into the gym for 2 or 3 weeks. You have to have things around you that really keep you connected to your goal. For me, I ditched gossip magazines, another guilty pleasure. Instead of picking up Us Weekly and Star magazine and comparing myself to every single celebrity, I started picking up health magazines, Women's Health, Self, Fitness. And I started reading these articles about women that were trying to really find themselves and lose weight, trying to look at healthy recipes and pull them out and make them for dinner. That's how I stayed connected to my goal. A friend of mine, her mother's in her 50s, and she picked up yoga 5 years ago. And she really started getting into it, and she was at a point in her life where she was ready to travel, and her husband didn't really want to have anything to do with it. So she started seeing these advertisements around her yoga studio for these European retreats. Go and eat healthy and do yoga for 7 days, come back and feel refreshed and rejuvenated. So she'd go on these retreats, and she'd come back and feel wonderful, and she made new friends and just really stayed connected to her passion, her goal, yoga. One of the main reasons why I opened my studio was so that women could feel a sense of community with fitness and working out. Rather than going to get a drink after work with your colleagues, maybe you go and take a fun fitness class and stay connected to your goal. So after all of this decision-making, commitment, experimentation, immersion, what is that really leading you to? It's leading you to your one moment of discovery, where everything really just starts to make sense for you, your aha moment. Mine happened to be another Real Housewives story. Bethany Frankel, I love her. She wrote a book called Naturally Thin, and when it first came out, I picked it up, and I read the whole thing, and I really connected with this book. It really resonated for me. And there was this saying in the book, one of her main teachings: your diet is your bank account. However much food you put into your body, make sure you're doing enough exercise, vice versa. If you have a bad day one day, make it up the next. That really made sense for me. And all of my dieting and experimenting, everything really started to make sense. And that's what you're looking for, your one moment of discovery. People say, know your body. Listen to your body. Know what it really needs. What does that really mean? What does that even mean? Well, if you go on this journey of discovery, you'll eventually figure it out, no matter how long it takes. So now I encourage you, if you struggle with your weight, your body image, your self-esteem, I encourage you to go on this journey and find it. Just don't stop searching until you do. Thank you.